Good day to the teachers and staff of Victoria Heights School of Manila, and good morning as well to Dr. Says and Mr. Kris Penas, who have invited me to talk about parents' role to distance learning. I'm Olive Abarquez, a New York City public school teacher, and at the same time a parent. So when New York and New Jersey declared a remote learning option for all the parents and the teachers and the students, we also were scrambling for here in our home and how to do it. And up to now, we're still trying to figure out how we can do it better this September. And today, I'm just gonna share with you what we have experienced so far. And here are the things that I would love to share with you. Parents' Role to Distance Learning for Victoria Heights School, Manila by Miss Olive Abarquez and Johnson Abarquez. So, hello, Johnson. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so we are here today because we're going to help other parents and children figure out on how to do remote learning better. Okay, are you ready? Okay, here's my first question. Johnson, if you are to rate remote learning from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, what would you score remote learning?
Maybe 4 to 3.
Why so?
Because you know that when we go to our classroom, like when we go to Google Classroom, it's like every day they give us a bunch of work, but you're just gonna say that it's the same as school. But then in school, you have to do the work. But then in Google Classroom, it's like it feels like you're too lazy to do all the work. But then when you're in school, you really have to do all the work.
With the help of the teacher, that is right?
Yeah, but then in remote learning,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any help of the teacher, and they're just assigning, and they expect you to finish everything on time. But then it's a bunch of work every day, and then you're worrying about that one. But then when you look back, you see a whole lot of work left that you still need to do.
So you are saying that there was just a lot of work during remote learning, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you rate it, 3 to 4, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so I have a question for you. What's your favorite part of remote learning? Even if it was hard, what was your favorite part?
Even though I didn't get to meet my friends in person, I still get to chat with them in a chat box.
So that's your favorite part, chatting with your friends? Was it about the lesson or just checking on each other how everybody's doing?
Just checking on each other.
So that was important to you as a kid?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Now, next question. What is your least favorite thing about remote learning? Your least favorite?
I mean, there's nothing really least favorite in there, but there is one that I kind of already said before, which was the lot of work thing.
All right. Okay. So why is a lot of work your least favorite?
Because it feels like it's going nonstop. Like there's no ending to how much work I need to do. Like every single day, it's like 1 to 50 assignments.
All right, I hear you, that there was just too much in such a very far distance from your teacher who could actually help you, right? Now, was there anybody in your family who helped you?
Yeah.
Who was it?
My mom and dad.
Okay, your mom and your dad. And how did your mom and dad help you?
They helped me by getting my work done and helping me do it faster.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Now, Johnson, what advice can you give to kids who are just like you? You were a second grader last school year. This September, you are going to third grade. Now, what is your recommendation for parents and children out there who are going, whose child or, whoever is the kid that's going to third grade next year? What's your advice?
To not hesitate to ask their mom or the teacher for help.
Wonderful. Can we give Johnson a round of applause? Thank you so much. You have seen a video of Johnson and I talking. And now let me show you. Here are the 5 parent roles to distance learning that I've put together for everybody to think about. Number one, the first role of the parent, or one of the roles that parents have to do is being a timekeeper. So as a timekeeper, it is our job to wake them up in the morning, to wake up our children in the morning, keep an eye on them during lunch or recess, and then get them back online according to the schedule of the teacher. And it is also our job to get them off the gadget at the end of each school day. Number two, the second role of the parent is to be an ally. Be your child and your teacher's ally. That means you need to work together. You need to work together with the teachers, and you need to work together with your own child. Establish a relationship, letting them know that you're there as a support. You're there to help them. But of course, they have to do the work, and that they have to do the work, and you're just there to support whenever they need an extra hand. The third role that I'm going to talk about is being a role model, which is really the role of the parent. Um, Work with the teachers to identify what specific online skills. That's very important. Like, what do you expect the students to know? Do you want them to be able to use Zoom, go to breakout rooms by themselves, be a host and start sharing what's on their screen? That's something that, needs to be determined together with the teachers. So as a role model, you have to identify what specific online skills, applications, or programs that are going to be used. Then learn how to use it as a parent. Don't just leave your child trying to figure out how to use their apps. You must know it also, so that in the event that they need help or there's an emergency, you can actually help them. Show to your child that you know how to do things yourself, and that uh, you know what actually is going on. The enforcer, use an effective monitoring system to recognize their hard work and to call out behaviors that need to be altered or changed. So as an enforcer, you actually help them uh, be on time. You actually remind them that there are rules to be observed. And if you hear them calling out words that you don't really use in the house or in school, you remind them, okay, warning for that one, that was not acceptable. Or when you see them chatting with friends instead of listening to the teacher, you may call them out on that matter and let them know that they can have the first warning, second warning, and then later on, you really have to tell them that there will be a consequence if they don't alter or change their behavior. So you actually enforce not only the rules of your house, but also the rules of the teacher as soon as you know them, as soon as the teachers will share their remote learning classroom rules with you. Number five, or the fifth role that I'm going to talk about, is being the encourager. There will be a lot of challenges in distance learning, and kids often feel frustrated and unmotivated, and there will be changes in mood and behavior. This is where we come in as parents and just encourage them to keep going, to not give up. And if they feel overwhelmed, then you have to sit down with them and show them how a big, overwhelming work can be actually chopped down to a little task. So find a way to lighten up things for you and your child. Now, I want to go a little bit more on these five rules in the next slides. Here we go. Tools for timekeeping. You may use your phone alarm right here, your kitchen or regular timers. You actually need a physical timer at home so that it will be used to wake them up, to time them when they're in the bathroom, to time them when they're changing or eating breakfast, and make sure that they sit down just before or maybe a few minutes before remote learning begins. Also the timekeeper for at 3 o'clock when it's already dismissal time. Be sure to unplug everything completely. Now, you may want to take a walk, do a chore together, take a nap before preparing for dinner or doing homework. The second one, be an ally to the teacher and your child by keeping communications line open. This is extremely important. I would share personally as a teacher that there were parents who chose not to communicate with me anymore. It was very difficult for me. I had to guess what's going on. I had to call help from the school to communicate with them. And uh, the reasons were very acceptable. And if only had I known it earlier, it would have been easier for me as a teacher to remedy the situation. So I'm speaking as a teacher that it's very important for parents to communicate with us. Now, I also want to speak as a parent. Several times, I honestly did not want to communicate with the teacher if it wasn't a major test or a big homework or a huge project that ran across different days or weeks, I really did not, communicate with the teacher. If it was something that was day to day, or if she did not email me, she did not call me or text me, I let it be. I didn't want to overwhelm myself nor the teacher, and I didn't want to just dump on her my frustration also as parent. So I'm giving you both sides. As a teacher, I wanted the communication lines open. And as a parent, I chose the things that I communicated with the teacher, knowing that she also has other students who needed her attention. And just by looking at what she prepared, I'm sure she was also a little bit overwhelmed because she gave a lot of work. So another thing that you can do in your school to keep communications line open, and I have another video for this, and you can check out my YouTube channel. I recommend Class Dojo. Class Dojo can be a whole school teacher and parents communication line because everybody can download the app into their phones and use this to communicate. So how is this different from just texting? Well, with this one, it keeps the messages that you have sent to the parent right there in the app, so you don't lose it. So you're able to keep track of what you have been talking about. And I actually use it as a way to go back to, oh, you know what? This parent asked me to do this, and I check the messages, and then I'm reminded as to what I'm supposed to do, and I do it. Okay, so I recommend Class Dojo to you. Now, to the parents out there, I would say please communicate whenever you feel like saying these things, like say, I need more time for Johnson to complete the work. I need more time for my child to complete the work because he really had a hard time. He didn't know how to use um, the program or the app, or we're using different gadgets. The teacher is using a computer, the student is using an iPad. Yes, there's a lot of difference there. The interface in the iPad is different from the interface in the computer. So you have to communicate. If parents, you have to communicate to the teachers if things are not working out for you. Okay, and you can tell them it didn't show up, the assignment or homework did not show up like the way it showed. So keeping communication lines will actually lessen the stress and will reduce the barriers to remote learning and remote teaching. Okay, so being silent and unresponsive is not helpful at all. That is my point of view as a teacher. Parents who go silent and unresponsive to very urgent text messages or emails is not really helping me help their child. And change is always uncomfortable, but if you just learn how to communicate and respond and just say, you know what, let me take a look at that, give me 24 hours to do it because I'm really swamped, then that is very helpful. Okay, so keep communications line open, be an ally to both the teachers and your child. Be a role model. Now, as you have seen in the video, Johnson and I even struggled with using Zoom. If you have that struggle yourselves, it is very helpful that you actually sit down, which I plan to do, and I have not done yet, despite. But my 8 years old, who's going to third grade, needs a lot of help. I feel like on some level we are the same. And when I will watch videos with him and how to use Google Classroom, I would want to see it from the perspective of a parent and a student. And also, I encourage you to learn how to use Zoom, how to make videos in Flipgrid, how to write in PDFs, and how to self-monitor oneself online. Now, this needs a lot of time and repetition, so make time for this. This is the key to your child doing remote learning independently. Being a role model yourself and showing it to them that you can actually do things and telling them that you can actually do this with a lot of practice, eventually your child is going to be independently working on their own while you are out there in your job, or you are at home doing chores or doing a work from home. So our goal for number 3, being a role model, is eventually showing it to them that they can be independent on their remote learning. Just a heads up, it does need a lot of time and practice to be able for a third grader to become independent in remote learning. Let's move on to number 4 and 5. Now, being an enforcer, enforcing routine and a reward and consequence system is important. I had a video of this extensively talking about how you can actually reward a child when they're doing good online during distance learning, and how you can actually give them a consequence. So with the teachers, use again classdojo.com or monitor their grades or missing work in Google Classroom and then letting them know, emailing it to them. I hope you know how to do that. At home, as a parent, you can have a chart of their names, of your children's names, and you can give them a star when they would complete the day's work, or have a star when they don't, because that will also serve as a reminder for you that they actually need help in something. Now, be firm and consistent in both giving a reward or a consequence. So I recommend that you give them a reward on a weekly basis, and then on a daily basis, a star should be enough to let them know that they're doing great. Now, for the consequence, I also would agree that it would be on a weekly basis. Like, for example, for this whole week, they did everything, whether it was with help or without help. And then you promise them an ice cream and you buy them an ice cream. That's a reward for the week. And then the next week, you see that they were chatting and not listening. And then they did it more than 2 times. And they already have a strike with you, which is the third time. And so I suggest that you be firm with your consequence to, like, no ice cream at first offense. Second offense, I'm going to time you out from chatting with your friends online. Or third offense, no gadget for the weekend. Okay. So I know parents are very good with giving consequences. I hope we'll be very good also in giving them rewards, because the only for reward and consequence to work, we really have to be firm and consistent as much as possible. And of course, this should be number 6 and not number 5. I mean, this should be number 5 and not number 6. Being the encourager, sit down maybe an hour a day while preparing dinner to watch and support them do homework. Read quotes from a book about hope and courage, and celebrate small moments with your children. Give praise and a hug and a kiss. For little kids, this thing means like a big deal. It's a big deal to be hugged and kissed by a parent. And then let them know that when they're behind with work, uh, that you will find time during the weekend to help them keep up. Okay. And if your family do meditation and prayer, it would be nice to include also the challenges that they undergo during remote learning, and just pray about being successful in general in whatever they do in life, including, having to survive this pandemic. That would be wonderful. And it gives a lot of encouragement to the child. Also, don't forget to exercise together. So in one of my videos wherein I talk about happiness habits, I talk about what families can do together to keep, the good vibes within the home. And from the webinar that I have attended, talking about how the brain actually, helps us. We know that the brain is that organ that helps us really learn, but also helping the brain learn is something that I have learned during that webinar. It says that exercise, moving major joints like the shoulders, okay, the neck, those are the major joints, the hips, the toe, the knees, even the toes. And that's why we have a song, head and shoulder, knees and toes. Actually moving those joints, those major joints, fire up the limbic system. And the limbic system is responsible for the feeling of happiness, the feeling of alertness, of being vibrant and active and alert. So part of being an encourager is not just to say the words, but also to do physical activities together that actually fire up our brain to learn, to want to learn more. Okay. I think we are going to be on our last slide. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment in this YouTube video. For any questions, please leave a comment in this YouTube videos. I really wanted to stay up for a question and answer, but that would be challenging for me because that would be around 1 o'clock in the morning here. Maybe next time we can sync our time and I can actually see you all guys in Zoom, and we can actually have question and answer session so that I can help you out whatever questions you have. In the meantime, you can just leave your questions in the comment section of my YouTube video, and I promise to get back to it and to answer. Or else, please find me in Facebook, drop me a message, ask me a question, and I will answer it. Now, for videos about managing your young learners at home while the bigger siblings are busy, so for videos about managing your young learners at home while the bigger siblings are busy, I actually made a playlist out of those videos. I think I have 3 videos all together, and you can watch it in my channel, which I gave there the address, or just type Olive Photographics in YouTube. And I'm talking about this right now because I understand that aside from taking care of just one child in the home, what if you have several children and you actually have to take care of the small ones too? So I hope I can help you with the videos that I already made. And I hope I can help your child who is a student of Victoria Heights, Manila, to do better by you being able to put their siblings on a task while they're also doing remote learning with Victoria Heights, Manila. So if you have any questions, again, leave it in the comment section and I will answer it. Thank you all, and all the best to everyone.